So last episode of the Metronome run, I took down a lot of different goals, and I plan on keeping that momentum. So let's head over to Kofu's Water-type gym. Okay, well, Metronome might not be stoked about this fight, but neither am I really. I mean, I'm not worried it's going to be hard or anything, it's just a very forgettable and boring gym in my opinion. I like Kofu, he's silly, Volton Veluza funny, but everything else about it is just kind of meh for me. So let's get it over with and head over to the auction where we meet his bodyguard, who stops me and fights me because he doesn't feel like listening to me even though I'm telling him I have Kofu's wallet, which he's looking for, by the way. But whatever, Fire Emblem Fates style writing aside, Kevin R explodes and I move on to the auction where I mash through menus until I win. Cool. Now let's head back to the water gym to fight Kofu. Let's take a look at his team. Veluza, Wugtrio, and Crabominable. Nobody here is really that scary, honestly. None of these Pokemon have very good defense stats, and the only one with a strong offensive stat is Crabominable, who will spam Crab Hammer, which will have same type attack bonus because of Terra Water, making him pretty intimidating with his attack stat of 132, which is higher than Arceus, by the way. So let's begin. In comes Veluza and Kevin R. Kevin R hits him with a very underwhelming Earthquake before using Grass Knot to finish him off. Already a third of the fight done. Next comes Wugtrio and I switch into Mimi, who terastallizes and uses Beat Up, hitting him 6 times, almost taking him out. Mimi then kisses Wugtrio, gross, and then he takes himself out. Just one more. Big Snow Crab Crabominable. That's the joke, I get it, it's the Snow Crab. That's kind of funny, actually. I switch in Girl Boss for some Rocky Helmet damage, hit him with a Charge Beam, and now he uses Crab Hammer, which shouldn't hurt that much. Oh, wow, that was a lot. Okay, I'll switch to Candy, and okay, she almost gets one shot. I realize now that switching kind of isn't a good idea in this fight, so I'll just stick with Candy. She gives him a little present, doing a little bit of damage, and he misses a Crab Hammer. Sweet. Unfortunately, Indeedee squanders this opportunity and gets defeated. Thankfully though, Prince finishes it off with a Focus Blast. 4th gym, beat. On to my next target, Great Tusk. Now here's the thing, I'm not ready for this fight. He's like level 45 and I'm like level 30-ish. On top of being underleveled, he's strong on nearly all my team. He has knockoff for Kevin R and Candy. He's a fighting and ground type, meaning that Meowthorata and Girl Boss stand no chance. On top of this, he's faster than my entire team, so how can I possibly beat him? Luck. Lots of luck. That's kinda how things have been going so far. So, let the battle begin. I terastallize Kevin R to Poison to get rid of the Dark type weakness, and he still does a huge chunk of my health, and unfortunately Kevin R refuses to do damage, so he goes down. So let's end in Berserker, who should get one shot, but he goes for Rapid Spin, which allows me to get a critical hit Steel Wing, which does huge damage thanks to her ability Steely Spirit boosting Steel type moves. He goes for Rapid Spin again for some reason, which allows me to fly away, which once again does big damage. Great Tusk finally comes to his senses and Brick breaks my Flying Cat. I switch in Girl Boss and while she doesn't even get to do an attack, her Rocky Helmet does way more damage than I expected. Then Prince almost takes him out with a Wood Hammer and I just need Mimi or Candy to do a little bit of damage. And Mimi delivers, absorbing what little life he has left. On to Phase 2, the easier part of the fight because of Arven. We lead with the same strat, Kevin R terastallizing to not die to knockoff. Great Tusk goes straight for Scovillain though, so I'm completely safe. Arven does hit him for some big damage with Razor Leaf, and then I use Shell Side Arm, which does a solid amount as well. A good start. We spend the next turn lowering his stats, and then immediately I hit him with a Grass Knot, a move which is super effective and does more damage depending on how heavy they are. And Great Tusk happens to be quite heavy. Sure, I get knocked out, but this fight is basically won. So Candy pops in to finish the job with Final Gambit. Maybe a little bit over the top, but good job anyways. Now I get to eat a sandwich that makes my dog fly. Now despite what it looks like, that was actually all skill and I planned all of it. First try. Well, second try, but that first attempt doesn't really count, it was last episode. Now that that's over with, let's go fight a fan favorite character, Larry, your normal everyman. He's also my favorite character. This gym does have a few trainers that precede it, but if you just remember the food like I did, you don't have to fight any of them. So gym challenge done, and on to Larry. Larry has 3 Pokemon, Komala, Dunsparce, and Staraptor. All of these Pokemon are intimidating in their own ways. Komala can put my Pokemon to sleep with Yawn, and then spam Slam. Dunsparce can paralyze my Pokemon with Glare, then use Hyper Drill and Drill Run for some strong ground and normal type damage. Lastly, we have Larry's ace, Staraptor, the only gym leader whose ace is actually the type of the gym, meaning that his normal type moves are going to be doubled in power, which is terrifying. I've been first trying a lot of these battles recently, but that changes with this fight, which took 3 tries. The first one I lost because I didn't have my strategy fully thought through yet. I knew Kevin R would be really good in this fight, but I didn't realize until the second attempt that Komala and Dunsparce can't even hit him. Even without this knowledge though, I did make it to Staraptor on my first attempt, but he swept me with Facade unfortunately. Now on to attempt 2. This should go a lot better now that I know my strat and I can just sweep with Kevin R.
Healing. Oh no, that's the worst possible outcome. That's like explosion without the benefit.
Alright, so I lost because Kevin R decided to be a martyr, but on attempt 3 things went better. Because Kevin R did, well, anything else. This fight was a little odd though, as Kevin R used Dragon Tail, forcing Staraptor out early. This doesn't actually make that big of a difference, it just means that I have to do the hardest part of the battle first. I need to preserve Kevin R for the rest of the fight, so I switched to Girl Boss. Staraptor takes Rocky Helmet damage twice before getting hit by a Revelation Dance, doing a solid chunk of health. Tinkaton does go down, but does 1 more Rocky Helmet damage on her way out. Prince comes in, cries, then dies. Poor guy. Thankfully, Berserker can bulk a Facade and takes down Larry's ace with a Fire Pledge. At this point, the battle's won. The rest of the Pokemon can't even damage Kevin R. And he closes the battle out with Struggle. Yeah, he kind of ran out of moves, but it was alright, except for when he healed them with Heal Pulse and almost died to Struggle damage. Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't that easy. Gym Badge 5 acquired. Then I'm forced to battle Nimona, and this is the first time that I have to fight Quaquaval, who can easily sweep my team with how fast and strong he is. And unfortunately, he does. So that's another blackout and I have to redo the battle. Oh, I guess I don't have to win. I don't know if it's just because Gita was there and watching the fight or whatever, or if that's just an optional battle, but we take those. First try, I guess. Can I just take a moment of your time to ask you to like the video and subscribe? I don't want to sound too desperate, but please, 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 please. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and it would just mean a lot if you could help me reach that goal. Back to the video. Well, we have 5 gym badges, 4 Titan badges, but only 2 Team Star badges. So let's move on to Atticus, the Poison type user. Before we fight him though, we have to fight a child, beat up 30 Poison types, and on to our first attempt of Atticus. He has 4 different Pokemon who all drastically differ in difficulty, so I'll talk about them in order from easiest to hardest. First, we have Skuntank. This Pokemon would be pretty difficult, but when I lead with Girl Boss, he can't hit me, because he only uses Toxic and Poison Jab, which Steel is immune to, and Sucker Punch, which doesn't work because I'm not using an attacking move. Even though I'm doing damage with Metronome, it technically doesn't count as an attacking move. So Skuntank just can't hurt me, which is dope. Next is Muck. Pretty easy as he just doesn't do much damage to Kevin R, so I can just easily take him out. Next up is Revavroom, the big one. I know, surprising. This car is just honestly not as bad as the other ones. Poison is a pretty underwhelming status effect, so I don't mind being poisoned. Yes, he's really strong, yes, he's really bulky, but that's nothing compared to the most difficult enemy. Revavroom, the little one. I know it's odd, but this dude is a beast. He has Bulldoze, which deals damage to Tinkaton and Berserker. He has Assurance to deal with Indeedee and Kevin R. And he has Iron Head to take out Morgrim. Primeape's the only one who's safe from his wrath, but even still, he's just really strong. Did I mention that he also has an amazing typing of Steel Poison, only weak to Fire and Ground? Yeah, basically the only way I'm going to get through this with no casualties is if I get a Ground-type move. This is going to be rough, isn't it? Unfortunately, this one did take me a while. 8 tries to be exact. Most of these attempts didn't even make it to Big Revavroom, as Little Revavroom just swept my team. But on one of my attempts, I made an important and devastating discovery. So there's a lot of bad moves I can get. One of the many moves that just do nothing, or I can roll Present, which has a chance to heal them, or maybe I could roll Heal Pulse, which always heals them. But the absolute worst moves are the ones that instantly knock out my Pokemon, like Explosion, Memento, Healing Wish, etc. But I discovered a move so bad, it doesn't just knock out one of my Pokemon, it instantly loses me the entire battle. Fling, a move which throws your item at the opponent and does different damage depending on the item thrown. The issue is, this uses up my item, permanently. This wouldn't typically be an issue, but unfortunately half of my items are irreplaceable. So anytime I get Fling, it's an automatic reset. And I forgot to save, which is, that's just great. So after fighting the child again, and fighting 30 poison types again, I can resume fighting Atticus. After losing a few more times and evolving Girl Boss, I was able to finally beat him. And here's how I did it. Lead with Girl Boss to destroy Skuntank with no challenge. I then switch to Prince and Terrastalize, so I'm no longer weak to Steel. Still almost get one shot, but at least I pecked him, I guess. Mimi comes in, Dark pulses him, which does surprisingly good damage, but his Iron Head is just so strong. Then I waste a turn shifting gears and I fall. Let's hope Candy can finish it off. Indeedee is thankfully a bulky girl and is able to survive 2 whole attacks. Candy tries and fails to burn up. Force Palm does a little bit, but man, are we sure this is the winning attempt? I'm doing pretty bad right now. Girl Boss comes in and actually rolls a move that does something, and Revavroom falls. As stated earlier, Muck just gets bodied by Kevinar. So onto Big Revavroom. Kevinar ran out of moves, so I hit him with Struggle twice, which did minimal damage. Girl Boss sets up a Sword Stance, which is actually pretty good, and she takes a Flame Charge surprisingly well. I do a lot of Rocky Helmet damage, and use my doubled attack to hit him with a huge Fairy Lock, a non-attacking move. Okay, well, anyways, Girl Boss does even more Rocky Helmet damage before beefing up her defenses with Cotton Guard. I actually might be able to finish off this car with Rocky Helmet damage alone now. Crazy. I finally get an attack, Pluck, and it does some good damage. Just a little bit to go. And here's a Mystical Power which almost takes him out, and as anticlimactic as it is, he falls to my Rocky Helmet. Badge acquired. I'm actually pretty close to beating the game at this point, only 6 more tasks. So let's go try and beat the False Dragon Titan. I am worried that this is going to be a little bit too hard for me, but I just want to get all the movement abilities, so let's go. On my way though, I pick up a Covert Cloak and give it to Berserker, which will prevent additional effects from moves from happening, like getting burned from Flamethrower. Alright, let's go talk to the big Tatsugiri, and uh-oh, he's been consumed, very tragic. Now we begin Phase 1 Dondozo. I'm still a little underleveled, but the Titans aren't too bad to beat, so I should hopefully be fine. I Terrastalize Berserker and flirt with the fish, but he's oblivious, so nothing happens. You know, other than me losing half my health from Water Pulse. I take another Water Pulse, and I hit him with an underwhelming 2 hits from Scale Shot. Mimi bites the fish, and it does very little. Wow, okay, I'm gonna have to get lucky here. Thankfully, I lower his accuracy with Mud Slap, which I'm sure will come in handy. Good job, Mimi, you did good. Kevinar comes in and does a little bit of damage with Lava Plume and dodges the Water Pulse, which is hype. Kevinar doesn't end up doing that much, but whatever, I got a bit of damage in. Girl Boss, though, uses Last Respects, Thunder Fang, and Yawns, which sets up the win perfectly for Candy, who finishes it off with a Drain Punch. Thankfully, that was the hard part, as Arven will just defeat Dondozo and Tatsugiri for me. And while this is true, it's not as easy as I expected it to be. You see, you have to beat Dondozo and Tatsugiri consecutively. The Dondozo goes down with ease. Again, Arven just destroys him. I do have to finish the job myself though, so let's just use any attacking moves and I should win. Okay, it's fine. For the real this time, Dondozo goes down easy. Now I just have to deal with the big Tatsugiri. And oh crap, he has Taunt. This is gonna be really hard actually. If you don't know, Taunt is a move that says your Pokemon isn't allowed to use non-attacking moves for 3 turns, which forces me to either struggle or switch out, because Metronome isn't an attacking move. This is really bad for me, especially because Tatsugiri is faster than everyone on my team except for Morgrym. So if Tatsugiri does not want me to attack, then I won't. So I really need Arven to carry me here. The first attempt goes pretty well, but unfortunately Arven's Greedent just went down a little too quick, and Tatsugiri just destroyed me with Taunt. But the next attempt went much better. I would love to say that it was cool, but it was really just Greedent doing everything, and I do the final blow with Struggle. It's lame, but, you know, I'm done with the Titans now, so... That would be really anticlimactic to end the video on a win as dull as that.